Hello everyone. Unit 2's last topic, which is talks about a presentation language. Then we can complete our second unit also. So let's begin. A presentation language. Important point: language for the introduction, language for making a thing clear, language for focusing, language for handling question, language for closing. Language for the introduction. Review this checklist when you prepare the introduction for your next presentation plan. Which step you need to include and decide the right sequence, then use or adapt the specific phrase for each step or simply use your own. Welcome and a personal introduction. Good morning. Welcome to. Hi everyone. Let me just start by introducing myself. My name is. I am in charge of this kind of a word, make an introductory. Words of thanks. I shall first like to say thanks very much to positive framing. It is good to see so many here today. I am extremely happy to be here. It is a great opportunity for us today too. Remember, never apologize for your poor English. This is negative thinking. Hook. Friends, the first words like here I have you can see it positive framing, words of the thanks, hook. It's an object, and at the bottom and then afterward the point is talks about the sentences format that like words of thanks, what you can use. I should firstly like to say thanks. Positive framing, there how you can make a dialogue delivery means the topic talks about presentation and languages. So it is in a language part which we are discussing, so that we have to focus. So whenever you find some of the words and some the lines are written means it is example like hook. To start, let me ask you proactive question. Take a look at this picture. What does it tell you about your company? So means activeness, how you can make some of the tricky game with your language that you have to always prefer whenever you go for your presentation. Objectives. The title of today's presentation is, the generally people will do this way whenever they want to give their object. The first line is in a demo, the second demo, the target of the presentation is to present. The third one, the objective today is to give some background about the main goal of for us is. So these are the way that people will say their objects. Now it's come about intro. First slide is always about the topic intro. Afterward, speaker will introduce their self, means personal introduction. Just a few words about myself. That way you can begin. For those of you who don't know me, whenever you are from unknown place, there you will use this way. Perhaps I should just introduce one or two people around the table. That is the also way. Reference to audience, context with understanding and empathy. I appreciate that you have. I understand that things have been difficult recently. That is the way to make a communication. Benefit statement. I hope this presentation will enable to you. Wait, hope I will give you today. Then real benefit I am hoping to deliver with this presentation is personal involvement. I am very much committed to. I really want to support. I believe totally that means when you are involving yourself. These are the sentences you have to use. Now about structuring. I have split my talk into four main part section. Firstly, I want to. Secondly, thirdly, we will move on to. Then next, after that, finally, I'll speak about. So means uh, structure that you will divide your beginning, middle part, or the end portion, and that the phrase or example how you will prefer there. Audience role. If you have any question, please feel to interrupt. I had be glad to take any question at the end of my presentation. I would like this to be interactive with discussion rather than just a present. Yes. Logistics. The presentation will last around minutes. We will have refreshment and the lunch at our. You are you there any question about logistic before we start? Link to start. Okay, let's begin with the first point, which is right. We can start by looking at. So means uh, they are saying some of the conditions also, and the presentation also, and the presenter, that how they are reflecting their self, and the part of an audience, how audience also reflect. So means these are the practical example they are giving, or the some of the experience they are sharing here. A language for making a thing clear. Review this checklist to your audience, navigate clearly through your presentation with introduction to key point, highlighting of main issue, and explain summarize of main question. Opening. Okay, let's move on to now. It's a time to turn our attention right. I think we can look at means these are the words are opening. Highlight issue. I would like to highlight three things on the slide for you. Like, if I want to highlight here something, is only the two things, opening and the highlight issues. It's a sub point of language making a thing clear. I think there are two big questions to focus on here. What I would like to discuss with you now is the important question of linking between a series of issues in a relation to the first point concerning and regarding developing the topics. If I can just expand on that a little, it might be useful to give a little background to this. If I can digress for a second on interesting thing, a little bit unrelated is means you have to put an interest or the develop the chains between your topics, so it becomes a parallel, make a sequence wise when you go for your presentation, that how you open your presentation, what kind of example at that moment you will refer, when that comes about middle part, when that your audience will feel a little bit boring, at that time how you will prefer, or what kind of example you will refer. So that is the way. Adding a personal comment, speaking personally, my own view on this is, see this as a means this kind of word you have to use when you give your personal comments. Summarize main issue. So for me, the main issue here is, okay, so many objective there was two. In a summary, uh, like we all watch movies. The movie is 3 hours, but when our best friend ask that what was the story, we always tell in 10 minutes. That movie is 3 hour, but we will explain only in just 10 minutes, and your best friend get an idea that okay, your movie is like that means it is summarizing, offering a question. Are there any question at this point? Does anyone have any comments on that? John, does that cover everything from your point of view? If what like I have given an example of movie and that how you summarize movie, there is no question, so move on. Moving on. Good. Then this moves us to right now. I want to go to the next point. So we should now take a look at. So means when you ending your first point and you are jumping on the another point or second point, so at that moment what kind of word you have to prefer, so they are telling us that this kind of word you have to prefer when you are jumping to another point. Language for focusing. Review this checklist to help focus your message clearly with introduction to key point, highlight of main issue, and explicit summarize the main question. Stressing explicit. I would like to stress it's important here to highlight. I should emphasize that we need to focus on, like we need to focus our university exam. So that is the way. Means nowadays stress on examination. Repetition for emphasis. This has been a problem for a long time. The more we discuss, the more serious the problem becomes. We need to talk active and we need to take active now. Positioning the core message effectively. What we need to do is what is really important to consider is what we can do is simplify to focus. Now first we have seen reporting for an emphasis, means at the time we are reporting somewhere that these are the problem and these are the solution, how we can balance, right? But now what we do, simplify to focus. If you come late in your class, first what you do, you will report somewhere that sir or ma'am I'm late. That means you have reported. Then the discussion will open, means the simplifying gonna focus the what are the problem and why you get on late. So means you will define that, so it become a specification or that a simplifying you will analyzing. Simplifying to focus. To put it simple, basically essential highlighting analysis. Let's examine this more in detail. What does that mean exactly? Let's just take a few minutes to look at this more closely. When you simplify, then teacher will analysis your reason that why you come late or why you absent yesterday. So what it become, highlighting, walking the audience up. Look, listen, let me ask you question. Exemplify. Let me explain within a concert example. For instance, just talk one example to illustrate this. Emphasize with the contrast. I'm really, actually, in fact, the same way how we have discussed the example that student come get late or absent in a class, and then what will be the what happened and how we make a discussion. Language for handling question. Review this checklist for a phrase to help you handle question. The racer model you show in unit 2 allow to manage any question using a proactive and professional process. R is an response, positive acknowledge. That's an interesting question. That's a good question. Thanks for the question. Natural acknowledge. Yes, I understand. Yes, many people ask that question, right? So means when people started asking a question, you should be you have to be responsive. Means that you have to give the answer. And if not there is a not satisfying answer, then maybe that I don't know. That is the perfect answer for that question. That if you don't know the correct answer, or if your audience is not satisfied with you, with your argument or the answer, then make that I have no more idea about that question. That is the easiest way. Clarification. So if I understand you correctly, you are asking sorry, what do you mean? Are you asking about sorry, why do you ask that question? Means that you are clarifying that It always happen when the teacher will ask to the backbenchers that which page I am reading. Teacher will say, then the backbencher will give a different page number. At that time, teacher always prepared that. Sorry, I didn't listen. Which page number you say? Or that maths teacher, whenever they ask the sum to the backbenchers and they are not able to give the right answer. A is an answer. Here you simply answer the question which has been asked. Remember to keep your answer conscious and focus directly on the question. C. It's a check. Did I answer your question? Is that alright? How do you see it? What's your opinion on this? Do you need more details? Yeah. When your answer will end, and after that you have to ask question. Means you are reviewing your answer, that did your audience is satisfied with your answer or not. E. Encourage. Are there any more question? Does anyone have any more question before I move on? R. Return to presentation. Afterward, when that there is no question, you will come down or the jump down on your topic. Okay. If there are no more questions, let's move on to the next section, right? I would like to return to the presentation and go on to look at good. If there are no more questions, I think we can finish here. So these are the suitable sentences that we have to prefer whenever we talk. Language for an closing. The same way, when we have to open our presentation, there we need some of the choosy words to open our presentation. So it is but obvious that when we are closing, at that time we also need the words. Review this checklist when you prepare the conclusion of the your next presentation. Decide which of the step you need to include and decide the right sequence as with the introduction. Use and adapt the specific phrase for each step or simply use your own expression. Means they are giving these words or the phrases that you can use, but they are also saying that if you have your own style or expression, you can go with that. Signaling the end. Okay, that brings me to the end of my presentation, right? That covers everything I want to say about. So that's all I have to say. That is the way, but majoritarily student always prefer the second one. So that was all I have to say. That is the way they are concluding. They will not make summarize, or at the end of their presentation they will never make a summary. Introducing the summary, the recap briefly, summarize the key points. Basically we looked at three major points, but we never do summarizing plus. On the first issue, the key point I want to emphasize is regarding the second issue. I think we all now see the importance. The final point of and for more the big issue, as I said, is concluding. The concluding, I would like to say that I would like to finish by saying, in conclusion, I hope that this has given you. As a final message, I would like to ask you to. So that's the conclusion. Have you prefer making an end? So that is also important. So these are the way you can make conclusion. They are saying that. Final recommendation. It seems to me then that we should. I would therefore advise that I think we are now in position to managing logistics. I have got some handout here, which you can pick up. Here's my email address in case you want to get in touch. Thank you. Means conclusion is not just thank you. It's a process to end your presentation. At the end, you are summarizing, you are talking about your issues or the solutions, and then finally saying some on the points, and then you will show your context for more uh, details, and then you start your thanking speech. Thank you for listening so attentively. Thanks you for your attention. I hope that this has been useful. Inviting question. Okay, I think that bring me to the end of the presentation. Are there any question? Now I would be glad to answer any question. So do you have any questions? The a second way to end your session, that majoritarily in PhD vivas we find this method, that first presenter will present a whole concept or the whole idea about presentation. At the end or the bottom of the presentation, the presenter get a number of question by the audience. So that's it is a second method to end your presentation. Creating impact. There are no standard phrase to provide impact. However, take a look at some example below to inspire you to say something powerful and influential to your audience. Calling to an action. We now have to. There is no option but to. So let's go. Demonstrate tangible benefits. Essential what I wanted to give you with a presentation was, after this presentation you can inspiring. We done before and we will do it again. We are the best, let's stay the best. Means it's given a motivation. At the end, you are making a little bit bonding with your audience, that we will meet one more time. You are making a correction that whatever we have learned, it is a good and it will be improved. It is a helpful. Achieving the feel good factor. And the finish, some positive news for you all. As you know, I like to save the best until last. So, highlighting achievements. Just to end, I would like to show you we have achieved in to finish on a high. Let me show you. Emphasize creative. The change will require creativity and innovation, but we have the people to meet the challenge. We can find a solution because we have the most creative team in the industrial working. So means you are emphasizing creativities that the behind the curtain, that are who make the perfect work. You are praising them. Thank you. So that's the about presentation and language. I know everyone knows that how to prefer, or every person has their different style, but as a part of a communication we try to study and some of the example we have taken. So that's the presentation and language. I hope you guys can understand.